Good morning or evening, class. I wanted to start off this little lesson with a open question. So, YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, what do these things all have in common? So, one of the obvious answers that comes to mind is streaming services, but a very interesting thing that they all have in common is that all of these services were responses to piracy. So, streaming services compete with the illegal means shown here. And in the early 2000s, there was a really huge problem as piracy became prevalent. And we're going to be looking over a few reasons why it was such a big problem in the music industry. So in the early 2000s, there wasn't a way to stream like we can do now. So iTunes wasn't even around until 2005. So if you wanted to get an album, you had to go to the store, you had to go into there, go find your $15 album, pick it out, drive all the way back home, and then listen to it. But when piracy comes around, you can just download all of the album for free on your computer. Not only is it free, first off, I don't have to go to a record store to go get my album. But what is piracy? So, Merriam-Webster defines piracy as the unauthorized use of another's production, invention, or conception, especially in an infringement of copyright. So, basically, this is just taking some sort of digital product that you did not pay for. And one of the questions we need to answer is, how is it done? So there's a couple ways. There's in-person sharing. This one's pretty self-explanatory, like my little clip art is. I have a flash drive or a CD. I give it to my friend, and whenever you burn a CD for your car, record a TV show, and or like put a game on a flash drive, and you just give it to one of your friends, and they're not just borrowing your computer to use it, it's piracy. And the other main way that you can pirate is through peer-to-peer network transfers. So basically, which this one is, each computer in the network will have a small portion of a file, and as the computers talk to each other, they will be able to piece together the entire file, and then you'll be able to get to the album. So it's hard to track, and it's very useful to share files. And looking at the cost of piracy, this is just software installations, and in the United States alone, there are 9.1 billion dollars worth of unlicensed downloads. And Hollywood also responded to piracy in music by fining one student $675,000 for pirating music in his dorm. And we know that the college student really can't pay that, but they're trying to set a example of what happens whenever you get caught. And piracy itself wasn't very safe either. Because of its illegality, they would use viruses to take sensitive information and also share illegal files. So viruses were in all of these. You are always running the risk of getting a virus when pirating. This would range from like just annoying pop-up ads to crypto lockers that would lock down your computer until you paid the hacker something. And they could also track your information to steal your data. For example, there was a man that was sentenced to 51 months in prison after exploiting a vulnerability in one of the piracy softwares to steal 83 different identities. But with all these risks associated with piracy, why did people do it? The answer was there really wasn't an alternative to the amount of content you could get from these pirating sites. iTunes wasn't out till 2005. Hulu only launched in 2007, and Spotify wasn't released till in 2008. So there wasn't really a legal means to get all of these services on the internet beforehand. But now that there's streaming services, the entertainment industry is recovering and regaining profits. So, to conclude, piracy showed the world that consumers want everything whenever they want. And because of this, the entertainment industry launched streaming services to give consumers a legal way to get what they were getting from piracy. Now, while you can never kill off piracy, by creating services like this, the entertainment industry will keep more consumers buying into the streaming services rather than losing them to illegal pirating. And this is how piracy helped influence the services that we use today. All right, and thank you so much for tuning in to my lecture.